National Assembly adjusts capital and recurrent expenditures on the 2025 budget.
We would have taken a longer procedure for amendment if this had already been transmitted to Mr. President for assent.
Director General of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies cautions clerks on partisan politics.
Politician will do politics. You must perform your work as technocrats, as bureaucrats.
Plus, legislator calls for more seats for Africa in the United Nations Security Council. Good evening and welcome to Parliamentary News. I am Stella Inameti. Senate and House of Representatives have rescinded decision on the 2025 budget bill passed last week to enable corrections on some errors in line items under capital and recurrent expenditures. While the budget size remains at 54.9 trillion naira, the capital expenditure has been reduced by more than 500 billion naira and the recurrent expenditure was increased by same amount. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has more.
At the point of cleaning and realigning, the Joint Committee on Appropriation discovered some inadvertent errors in the underlisted lines item passed by the Nigerian Senate and the House of Representatives. The only area where there is movement is between the recurrent and capital expenditure as stated.
The motion to effect the corrections was raised by the chairman of the Joint Committee on Appropriations, Senator Solomon Olamilekan, at the Senate, while the Appropriations Committee chairman in the House of Representatives, Abubakar Kabir, did same in the Green Chamber. The adjustments put recurrent expenditure at 13.588 trillion naira, while the capital expenditure is 23.439 trillion naira.
Third reading taken and passed. We would have taken a longer procedure for amendment if this had already been transmitted to Mr. President for assent.
They are very meticulous and they've been able to discover these errors at this point.
What the Appropriation Committee did was to align them so that the recurrent and the capital will go as they're supposed to be in the budget.
The National Assembly on Thursday, 13 February, passed the 2025 appropriation bill in which 13.064 trillion naira was allocated for recurrence and 23.963 trillion naira went to capital. Meanwhile, Senate has passed the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill forwarded from the House for concurrence.
The bill seeks to amend the Extant Act to streamline its provisions in conformity with modern dynamics in accounting practice and procedure.
Away from plenary, the Senate Committee on Capital Markets says the Investment and Securities Bill, meant to transform the investment ecosystem in Nigeria, has been transmitted to President Tinubu for assent. The committee disclosed this at a budget engagement with the Securities and Exchange Commission, during which it advised the management to adjust the proposed expenditure for 2025.
Your budget is ambitious. We are glad with the revenue, but expenditure appears to be on the high side. The expenditure is way high, and compared to the revenue.
You need to be very, very careful with the number of companies that you have highlighted here that are coming to the market in 2025.
At the SEC now, we are an ambitious team, knowing fully well that the capital market is actually a pot of opportunities.
SEC is proposing 40 billion naira as expenditure out of the 50 billion naira proposed revenue. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has condemned the rising cases of homicide, particularly of female citizens in parts of the country, without perpetrators being brought to book. Adopting a motion raised on the issue, the House asked the National Judicial Council and relevant law enforcement agencies to give priority to the numerous homicides investigations and ensure thorough prosecution of offenders. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikben reports.
Reeling statistics of homicide cases in recent years, sponsor of the motion, Representative Abiante, observed that women are mostly the victims as he emphasized the need to dispense justice.
The recent killing of Salome Adaidu, a National Youth Corps member in Nasarawa State, is a continuation of the trend. The list is endless. Distraught by the delays in the prosecution of homicide cases, which have caused prolonged pre-trial detentions, which is overcrowding the correctional facilities and loss of crucial evidence, eroding public faith in the judicial system.
When these things happen, we just don't want to hear that it has happened. We want to hear that somebody was prosecuted.
This is about the only country I know in the world where you can lodge into a hotel without proper identification.
We must act decisively to ensure that these heinous crimes are met with the full force of the law.
Other resolutions include the need for relevant agencies to intensify surveillance and raids on fake drug manufacturers.
Urgent need for government intervention to combat production and distribution of fake and expired drugs following the discovery of counterfeit drug factory in Osisoma, Ngwa local government area of Abia State.
Lawmakers also appealed to INEC to conduct by-elections for vacant seats in the National and State Assemblies.
Invite the leadership of Independent National Electoral Commission to provide detailed explanation for the reason behind the delay and step taken to rectify the situation.
The House Committee on INEC and Judiciary to intervene and prevail on INEC to restore the suppressed state assemblies, state constituencies in Kogi East Central District.
A bill to establish the National Assembly Infrastructure and Property Agency passed second reading.
To take over the operation, management, development, maintenance, and preservation of the National Assembly complex and all properties of the National Assembly anywhere in Nigeria and for related matters.
From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The House of Representatives is making a case for a stiffer penalty and strengthening the legal framework against genital mutilation, which affects more than 20 million females across the world, Nigeria inclusive. This was at a one-day public hearing on two consolidated bills seeking amendment to the Violence Against Persons Act 2025 and a bill that made provisions for widowhood leave to be given to a man or woman upon the death of the spouse. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports that stakeholders presented submissions.
According to UNICEF data, the prevalence of female genital mutilation in Nigeria accounts for 10% of the global burden between the ages of 0 and 14, 15 and 49, despite legal prohibitions. This public hearing by the House Committee on Women Affairs seeks to provide an opportunity to address diverse perspectives and share insight on the devastating physical and psychological effects on women and girls with regards to genital mutilation and to share opinion on the proposed widowhood leave.
Nawatch equally looks forward to a period in history where women will be free to make an informed choice on what to do with their bodies within the law of this country.
The bill appropriately extends widowhood leave to both widows and widowers, ensuring equality and fairness. This is commendable as it aligns with human rights principles and international labor standards that provides and promotes work-life balance and dignity.
We need to ensure that Nigerian girls remain protected even when taken abroad. Survivors like me do not need pity. No, we need action.
Members of the committee acknowledged the submissions brought forward and promised that all recommendations will be treated on merit in the interest of Nigerians.
Any person who performs female circumcision or genital mutilation or engages another to carry out such circumcision or mutilation commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 5 years or to a fine not exceeding 11 million naira or both.
The committee is expected to report back to the plenary for further legislative action. From the National Assembly, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
We'll take a short break now, and when we return, the news continues with a story from the United Nations Security Council and more.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Welcome back. The Director General, National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, has cautioned the clerks of the Nigerian legislature against involvement in partisan politics. The Director General was speaking at the opening of a workshop organized for members of the Forum of Clerks of Nigerian Legislature in the country. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
It is an established fact that without the parliamentary staff, lawmakers cannot function effectively. Against this backdrop, the Institute provides a playing ground for clerks to rub minds with experts on how to improve the institution of state assemblies.
We have seen reason why we should come back for another training, and we'll come back for another request, because just these 2 or 3 papers that we have had, we have seen reason to further engage the Institute.
DG Niels enjoined the clerks to ensure due process in the discharge of their duties and not to allow any politically motivated crisis to override the principle of democracy.
There are a lot of partiality going on in so many states of assembly. We have a crisis in Lagos, we have crisis in Rivers, we have crisis in so many states of assembly. We have recorded cases of impeachment here and there. Politicians will do politics. You must perform your work as technocrats, as bureaucrats, ensuring that procedures are being followed in everything we do.
This is the first time the Forum of Clerks is collaborating with Niels to catch up with new trends and development in governance. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has urged the United Nations to give Africa, especially Nigeria, a permanent seat at the Security Council. He stated this while representing Nigeria at the Heads of Parliament's meeting at the United Nations headquarters, New York, United States of America. Advancing Nigeria's position, Kalu emphasized the need to redefine multilateralism to accommodate the pressing needs of developing countries. He stressed that the current multilateral approach is driven by the global north, leaving the global south to face significant development challenges. He therefore urged the United Nations to expand the voices in the room to accommodate more of the global south, ensuring that multilateral aspirations are truly global. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says the death of Pa Edwin Clark is a monumental loss to Nigeria and the Niger Delta. In a condolence message, Akpabio describes Pa Clark as a renowned statesman, nationalist and a Ijaw leader dedicated to the unity and development of Nigeria. He extends deep condolences to his family, Pandef, as well as the government and people of Delta State, and prayed God to grant him peaceful rest. Similarly, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, describes the late leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Pa Edwin Clark, as one of the voices of reason who served Nigeria diligently until his passage on Monday. In a condolence message, Speaker Abbas recalls how Pa Edwin Clark continued to rally the Niger Delta region and formed alliances with other regional and zonal bodies for the common good of the country. The Speaker commiserates with the government and people of Delta State and the Niger Delta by extension, while praying for comfort for the immediate family. Also, Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu describes the death of Pa Edwin Clark as a huge loss to the nation, saying he left a legacy as a champion of justice, equity, and freedom.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
And that's the size of our parliamentary news. Follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. I am Stella Inameti. Bye for now.